Hey there, are you using Keap and maybe you have an internal workflow that basically you have to stop and review something in order for a contact to proceed in some type of automation or anything like that? Then I am delighted to share some really helpful tips for you today around task management in Keap. So let's get stuck in. Hey there, it's Mandy Brusser from Streamline for Success. And in this video today, I'm going to go through the idea of task outcomes and how powerful they are. But before I do that, what I want to go through is some possibilities and how kind of the journey of tasks have progressed in Keap, whether you have been formerly using Infusionsoft or you're a Max Classic or a Keap Pro or Keap Max user, then this video applies to you. So let me talk you through a scenario. So oftentimes you might have workflows in your business that you need to review the information that has come in before you take the next step or the next action or some automation. So a common scenario of this, I think you would probably understand, a lot of people would understand, is a contact form inquiry. A lot of businesses have these on websites so that people can fill out the information. There might be some drop down options, or there might be just a free text, which is a lot of the case for a number of our clients. So as a result of that form coming in, oftentimes you need to review, hey, what needs to happen next for this particular contact? Now, what's really powerful is task outcomes allow us to tick a couple of boxes to help us get across what's happening, but also to make note of the inquiry, but also to put them in a path along in the next direction. So I want to show you through this visual here. So this is kind of 4 possible outcomes, and I want to explain particularly 3 and 4 and why you want to use those specific ones. So option 1 is really a form getting completed on your website, and you would have a task that reviews and prompts you to go, hey, somebody filled out the form, go ahead and review the information on the form. So nothing further happens. There's no record of when the task was done, who completed the task, or anything else that would happen after that. Basically, it's just a task that's there, and it could sit open forever if you wanted to. But from a campaign point of view, that's all you're seeing. Option 2, the task gets created here, which is great. And we'll talk about task creation in just a moment. But you have this end goal in the campaign with the task completed. It'll kind of pull them out. Nothing else will go on here to acknowledge the fact that they've completed that task. Now, option 3, this is where historically, I'll be honest with you, that we have typically set up most of our clients this particular way. But as things evolve, option 4 is definitely an option for a lot of businesses and clients nowadays. So option 3 is really you've got a task, and maybe you've got the scenario that you've got 4 possible outcomes of an inquiry coming into your contact form, and it's whether you've completed a call and actions required. You've given them a call and no further action is required. You've left a voicemail, or you remove contacts. They're like a spam contact, or somebody's trying to sell you something or something like that. So you want to remove them. Now, you can probably see some scenarios in your own business that you can apply these principles. So these are just some ideas in terms of your contact inquiries that come in, what you could potentially do next after that step. So how this is set up and why this is a valid option you may want to consider is option 3 is the task is set up, but in the task you would have some instructions around, please go and complete this internal form. Now, if you don't know about internal forms, then you definitely want to jump on the bandwagon. So much power in internal forms. But the main difference here that I want to stress is that internal forms can help you capture more information at that time, and so you can move them forward within automation as well, and also collect more data. So the scenario here might be relevant is somebody's filled out your contact us form, say they've contacted us, they're interested in getting me to speak at an event or something like that, and I want to basically get and gather more information while I call them on the phone. So that contact form, you may want to add in their phone number here. You would probably, no doubt, would have collected that on the contact form anyway. You may want to add the company details. You may want to add notes. You can see I've got a note field there, etc., etc. So internal forms are a really powerful way in which you can collect more data and then kick off automation. So you can see in that form as well, what's the outcome of the internal form? And basically this aligns, not quite in the right order, but you get the idea. This aligns here in, okay, you filled out the form, you've collected more information, maybe you're doing it whilst you're on the call with somebody, and then you can set them on the right path of what automation you want to have happen next. Now, one of the downsides of this particular approach is you did have a task and you have an internal form. So a lot of the time, sometimes, and I've been guilty of this too, is you get excited, you fill out the internal form, but the task stays open. So you've just got to remember, please make sure you close off that task to acknowledge the fact that you've done it. Otherwise, in 6 months' time, you're going to have a heap of open tasks and you'll have to do a bit of a cleanup activity later. But option 3 is definitely a really powerful way if you want to kick off more automation, close the loop, of course, finish off this particular part of the workflow, and also collect data. So super helpful in that scenario. Option 4 is task outcomes. And this is where it's really managed within the task itself. And you don't need to actually collect any extra information or any pieces of data at the time that you're actually completing the task. So this is where task outcomes come into play. So what you can do here, and I'll sort of go through the steps here, and I'll recreate this one here. Let me go in here and create a task. And what you want to do is put in the normal stuff that you would. You can see a whole bunch of things there. Contact us in inquiry review. And you can put in stuff. You can merge in their first name if you've asked for that on the form, phone, email, etc., etc. The type of tasks can be any of those. Task outcomes, and this is where the power of task outcomes come into play. So you can see I've got a bunch here already. If you're starting out using this for the first time, you won't have any, and that's okay. So you can go ahead and create your task outcomes here, and or you can manage them here. You can add categories and those sorts of things. So I've already got some that I've prepared earlier, of course. So I want to select the action, call completed, action further, call completed, no further action, left voicemail, and remove contact. So they're all the possible outcomes that I want to use. I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to make it a priority. Critical, and I think that covers the mandatory stuff. And of course, you can flesh this out. And this is super exciting, and really think about it when you're naming these outcomes. Be as succinct and descriptive as possible, because it will really help you and your fellow users to make sure that it's really clear on what action and outcome they should be selecting from this part of the process. You may also want to put in here a little tip as well, is what's going to happen if they select these different things. You may want to put in the description of the task, hey, if you select blah, 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 this is what's going to happen. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to get rid of this guy here because this is one we've just created. Contact us, inquiry review. Okay, great. Done all that. So now you want to go ahead and configure all of these. So in case you haven't configured a task goal before, task completed goal, is you want to click and drag that across and connect it up. Now, I've already prepared this before, so I'm just going to go in and then configure like I would have just created it. So this will give you a list of all of the tasks that are included in that sequence just before this particular task completion goal. So if you've got 3 tasks in here, then you would see 3 tasks that appear here. So you want to select the task that's relevant, and obviously we've only got the 1 task, so that's okay. And then these are all the task outcomes that you had configured in here. So let's go ahead and do that. And we can go action further. and just go down basically and configure them all. Whoops, that's doing its funny thing. Now, why I like this, it's really, as I said, to make your life easier, and this last one. Remove contact. Okay, great. So I've got that here. And yeah, as I said, it makes your life easier. And also, when you look at this, you get a sense of, okay, but all the people coming into this workflow, what's the outcome? And then you can start to see how many people are going to each of these possible outcomes. And you get to get that visibility that you need to understand, okay, cool. Well, actually, this voicemail, we're getting a lot of people going to voicemail. Okay, so do we want to change our communication method? Do we want to start emailing them? Or if no further action is required, maybe we need to put some more information on that page, or some more qualifying questions because they're not quite the right fit. So it really does help inform how can we tighten this process even further to save you time and make sure you're getting the best results out of this automation. So it's really, really great. So let's go ahead and of course you want to put some stuff in these follow-up sequences. Further action required might be, okay, we're going to create an opportunity, or we're going to assign a task with somebody else in the team to go and actually schedule a call, or we may put them in some automation to go and schedule a call. No further action, nothing may happen for them. You may put some tags or some segmentation on them. If they've left a voicemail, you could completely duplicate this and, whoops, go down the path of leaving another voice, giving them a few days, leave them another voicemail if they haven't got back to you, and then you could put some other automation involved and give them other options as well as you go through. I know that's a very popular strategy, particularly if it's a sales-based inquiry, getting on the phone, okay, left a voicemail, we might standard process, wait 2 days, try them again, etc., etc. And remove contact, it may be creating a tag and putting them in a list, and somebody does that process of deleting contacts on a regular basis. So the opportunities are endless, and I hope you got some ideas from this particular video on what is possible with task outcomes and how incredibly powerful that they are. Now, I'm going to just jump in here and make these live just for a second and ignore all these things. Now, I want to show you what this looks like. And I'm also going to make this contact form live as well. I'm going to get the code, and we are going to get this, that one there, that's fine. Okay, I want to show you what this looks like so that you can see it in action. So let's go ahead and publish this. Okay, so it's published. So I'm just going to go ahead and use our test email here. Let's go and submit. And sorry, oh, cars. We want some cars. Verify. Okay, great. And obviously this is a test app, so ignore all that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and refresh this, and you can see I've got a contact in there. Fabulous. So I'm also going to just jump out of here, and I'm going to actually put that in a new tab and go. Test I think I used. Here we go. Is it this one? Oh, here we go. My bad. Okay, great. So you can see that. Here we go. This is again a test app, so this is why we've got a lot going on. So let's say this person has filled out the form. We've got a task to complete, and you can see here, in order to complete it, I have to select one of those options. So I'm going to go ahead and go, okay, I've got on the phone, got hold of this person. I'm going to go ahead and go call completed, action further. Good to put in a completion date and go ahead and save. Okay, so if I jump back in here in the reporting view, you can see I'm no longer active in this, or this lead is no longer active in this sequence. They have achieved this goal and they've moved in here. So just imagine what this is going to look like in 6 months' time, maybe 12 months' time, 2 years' time. that you'll have some good data here that gives you an idea about what's happening, what are those options, and how many are going down what path for you. And then you can easily just, as you can see there, I just went to the contact, reviewed the task, and obviously there'd be more instructions in there, selected the outcome, and it moves them to the next part of the workflow. So look, I hope that's been super helpful for you just to start to get an idea about what's possible with task outcomes, and how you can really use that as a tool to review information before you can kick off the next part of some automation in areas of your business. So it's Mandy Brasser here from Streamline for Success. If you're new to our channel or to this blog post, feel free to go ahead and sign up to hear more about some helpful information for Keap and other automation tools to make your life easier. And you can focus on what you do best. I'll chat to you soon.